Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Rabbi Isai, this Sunday, I have a special announcement. Probably one of the biggest announcements I've ever made. So get ready. It's a teaser. Get ready. Dear Belly, my name is Kalmo Hefter, and I'm 12 years old from Baltimore. I joined MDY for Sanhedrin after joining your official Gross's MDY Daf Yomi initiative. I'm proud to say that I've never missed a day, even when I had the flu. I also got my several boys from my class into MDY, and they also watched this year. Special mention to Yaakov Pianko, Zevi Minkin, Eli Kastner, and others from my class who have joined this year. In school, whenever my Rebbe comes into the classroom in the morning, my whole class says, "Good morning, Rebbe." At the end of the day, we say, "Rebbe, have a wonderful day." Of course, we also say, "Mendi weiter," when things get sidetracked during class. And Ashi approves when we want to do something which the school doesn't necessarily approve of. That is a gewaldige email, this kid. Thank you for making Torah and Gemara interesting and something I can understand and be able to discuss with my father. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Kalmo Hefter Gewaldik. Thank you, Kalmo. Should we do it again? Whenever my Rebbe leaves in the morning, the whole class says, "Rebbe, have a wonderful day." Of course, we also say Mendi weiter when things get sidetracked. Weiter. And Ashi approves when we want to do something which the school doesn't necessarily approve of. Moirdik. Dear Belly, you are Margit that makes sure that we have a ganz yor freilach. Your jokes and humor are so much appreciated. As a dentist, gives me an opportunity to crack a joke from time to time with patients. Thanks for the material. I thought this might be interesting to you and the MDY audience. I just read an article about a procedure that some doctors are able to do in order to restore vision. A tooth is extracted from the patient who can't see. In this case, they use the canine, which is appropriately named the eye tooth, as it generally sits just straight below the eye. They drill a hole into it and put a lens into it, and then bury it in the cheek for several months, where muscle-type fibers wrap around it, and then it is removed and sewn into the eye socket, allowing a patient to see. In some patients, they have clear enough vision to be allowed to drive. Yesterday, we mentioned the Torah concept of Shen, Ayin Tachas Ayin, Shen Tachas Shen, but I think in this case we can truly say it's a Shen Tachas Ayin. Here's the link to the article. Wishing cousin Penny a continued refuah shlema. Alex Gilden, Penny Gilden should have a refuah shlema. Rabbi Isai, big surprise here in Eretz Yisrael. This is during a mitzvah tan to the Chana the other night. Some people get a little bored. Everybody Chaimowitz with the Zayir. Okay, here's Avi Slayton in a ski resort somewhere in the world. Don't exactly know where.
Erev Tov Rabbi Isai.
Oh, this is, let me just read it in Hebrew. Thank you for making the daf so interesting. I started 3 times. I started with you in Baba Basra, and I do a Shabbos. One day I was giving the shir, and I was surprised to hear my 1.5-year-old scream out, "Ah!" So we started saying in the middle of the day, Erev Tov Rabbi Isai. Even my wife says in the middle of the day now. So the kids, I like this kid. This is unique. Check out how he finishes Erev Tov Rabbi Isai. One of a kind. Oops.
Erev Tov Rabbi Isai.
I don't know if a kid should be saying that in front of his mother. He says, "Li'ili nishma simi merasi v'rus Mordechai." Dear Rebbe Umayri Rebelli Shlita, I was thinking to myself, why does a frisbee appear larger the closer it gets? Then it hit me. Shnai Mikra, I noticed the day the Daf Yomi Pasuk in Shishi I also actually noticed this. I read recently, the Rameir Shapiro today, Rabbi Isai is the yahrzeit of Moshe Rabbeinu Zayin Adar. That's why they brought a kibbutz here.
Oh, they brought it for his birthday.
The Hasidim get very nervous when they daven in a Litvish minyan on Zayin Adar because we say Tachnun. They walk out. They do a whole thing. It's like the Democrats in the convention. They have signs, they walk out, they do all sorts of stuff. Reading Steinmaker, I noticed the Daf Yomi pausing Shishi. So somebody sent on the group he thought it was a nice vars, I thought it was nice too, that why is it called carbon tamid? Because you do it every single day, you have a consistency. So why is it called tamid? Because when you do something consistently, then it's a tamid, then it's chatzi, it's a kvios, is mechza. You're not doing it all day, it's not tamid. Okay. Anyway, I thought there was a nice connection. Thank you for changing my life. Benny Maslin, Megillah Daf Beis, identity crisis I've caught up from Brochas Daf Beis. He caught up, but he's really only from Megillah and now he doesn't know what to do. Cruise, no cruise. P.S. Picture attached from Manchester to see him. My wife jokes that I haven't washed my left hand since this picture was taken. Mechi Wurzberger, if you remember, 720, Shkoyach, you got the thing fixed over there? Because we heard there was a shtickle issue. You screamed out before, something, Mina Gabez, I don't know. No? Say it. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, of course. Baruch Hashem, Kitzer, it's going to happen with Rav David Hofstetter one day. I'm going to meet him. He's working on a meeting. Another point, you mentioned this phenomenon about Rahman Islam many times before. Someone's nifter, chas v'shalom, they get better for a bit. It's kliyoker at the end of Parashat Shmois. Hashem sends Moshe to Paro, not only does he not let them go, he makes it harder for the Yid, and the kliyoker addresses this point. All the best, Mechi Wurzberger, Toronto. This is Mechi Wurzberger, those of you. That's why I like the pictures. I get to remember. I definitely remember. Now I for sure remember. The boy said this is Remordcha Groskopf, in Remordcha. Not the Groskopf. Remordcha we call him. He comes to the Hebrew Shir. He's in Baltimore and he found Mishpach in Baltimore. Nachum Arvitz. The Masech sponsor Lefur Shleimo, Shmuel Ben Chana, Ettel, Yosef Chaim, Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama by their grateful family. Anonymous. For Hatzlacha, Brooklyn, ובגשמיות. Larry Cohn, remember Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70 and continued for 32 years until he was nifter. Anonymous for the unity of the Jewish people. Glenn Esterson, with love and gratitude from Wilmington, North Carolina. Thank you for enriching my life with Torah. Monthly sponsors: Eli Stefansky, Ben Moshe, Eli Stefansky, Bas Yosef, Binyomin Rosenfeld, Hatzlacha, Parnassah, Yosef Ben Chaya Sara, Hatzlacha, Berukins of Begashmiyos, Eli Nishmas, the fallen hostages, Ariel Ben Shiri, Kfir Ben Shiri, Shiri Bat Margit, Parnassah Berevach, Baruch Tzvi Nisim Ben Shoshana Leah. Coil sponsor Yaakov Ben Saro, Mishpachto LeBrocha Hatzlacha. The daily sponsors Avi and Ilana Spiro, people poor who are Goyrel. Haman was so happy he didn't know that Moshe was also born on Zayin Adar. Lefur Shleimo, Avram Tzvi Ben Elka, Miriam, Ilan David Israeli. Lili Nishmas, my uncle David Davici. Lili Nishmas, my uncle Yismeir Ben Yeshayahu on his second yahrzeit, the 7th of Adar. The yahrzeit of Moshe Ben Amram, Moshe Rabbeinu, Zayin Adar. By Molandi. Lili Nishmas, Yisrael Chaim Ben Yeshaya, yahrzeit is today. By Pinchas Byrne. Lili Nishmas, my great grandfather Asker Klein, Yosef Ben Avram, Alav Shalom, and yahrzeit, Zayin Adar. Moshe Kinsbursky, Lili Nishmas, Eliyahu Ben Yosef, the Neshama should have an Aliyah, Moshe, Yisher Koyach for the 2 suits, custom-made suits. Yonah Koletzik, Yumi Goodman, best actuary ever.
We're going to have to run the numbers on that.
The art of the month, for Shlema, for Yohanes and Eitan, Ben Basheva Bracha. The art of the month was Chus for Rebellion, the whole of the white staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many, and in honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. Rabbi said a question. We're holding on Daf Ayin Tes Amud Beis, kind of the start of the Gemara. Which kind of person who doesn't have Vera, he's Chayev Misa, and you don't have to give him hasra. Okay, so therefore you can't answer. You anything within 20 years, no. But there's a new one. After the Olam says, then here. Huh? Kills in front of Bezdin? Kills in front of Bezdin. Who said? No, we said yesterday it's a problem. We said no, there's a problem. You can't kill him because. Those of you who don't know, Robert Early married off his son last night, and after what I think was a very, very long mitzvah tans, he's here early in the morning, tremendous chizuk to us, as he's done in the past. Tremendous chizuk is shukayach.
You made me feel guilty, that's why I had to come.
Okay. Sometimes Yiddishkeit is about the guilt. There's a lot of guilt in Yiddishkeit.
But you made me feel guilty.
It's okay, that's what I do. I'm good at it. I'm trying to guilt everybody into coming after their kids' weddings. If Robert could do it, you could do it. Gewaldig. So the question is, what person doesn't require hasra? So you said what? Haba b'machteres. Anybody else? Huh? Chaver, very good. According to one sheet, the chaver. What else? What about it? You have to say it better. What is it called? Who? Who in Avodah Zarah? The maces. The guy that causes other people to do Avodah Zarah. There's more. No? Yeah? Adam Zayman, very good.
That was the question on Daf Mem you asked.
What else? He did Chazar yesterday. You do Chazara? That's the trick. I thought you have a good memory. You don't have to do Chazara. Nah, give shmak. I'm kidding. Baruch Hashem. Gewaldig. All right. This one, if you know this one, this is worth a lot of points, especially if you didn't do this daf yesterday. Who was Rav Yehuda's father? Abba's true. That is true. You got it well. And who was his brother? Who was his Rebbe? Rav Yehuda. Shmuel and Rav. Omer Rav Yehuda, Omer Rav. Okay, so we're going to see his father. It's a very interesting story towards the end of the daf. So the Mishnah says that if there's a murderer who was mixed in with other people, you let them all off the hook. The Gemara says, what kind of people are we talking about? We're talking about regular innocent people. So why would Rabbi Yehuda argue and say that you put them into a closed area and you let them all die? You feed them barley and they die. What? They're innocent. How could it be that he argues in something like that? So one pshat was that they're all murderers. They all had a gemar din, but our murderer didn't have a gemar din, and he got mixed in with the rest. So they all deserve to die. And Memela, we have a machlokes whether you let them loose. It's not really let them loose. There's a Rambam that says that you don't let them loose. You put them in jail forever. It just means they're not in the kippah. Kippah is a little bit tighter, and you feed them this barley that their stomachs explode. Okay. I don't see it in Rashi. I don't see other Rishonim. I don't see it in the argument, but that's what the Rambam says. Then we have another pshat. Rish Lakish Omar. 7 lines from the bottom. Ba'adam de kuli alma loy pligi de p'tiri. Certainly when it comes to human people, to humans, everybody agrees that you can't, just because one guy that's a murderer gets mixed in with the rest, they all go out, even if they are murderers that there's a gemar din, but he didn't have a gemar din, you can't murder one of them or any of them because one of them didn't have a gemar din. There's no verdict, there's no final verdict. So p'tiri, so we'd have to say according to the Rambam, they would all be in jail. They don't go scot-free, but they don't get the death penalty. Over here, we're not even talking about human beings. There's a certain pen that in the pen they put all the bulls that killed people and had a verdict. And this one bull over here, he killed somebody in the middle of the deliberations and he got mixed in with them. Rabbanan Sabri, Kimisas Bailam, Kachmisas Hashar. We have the famous pasuk, Vimshor Nagachum Mitmos Shilshoim, Hashar Yisokel, V'gam Ba'al of Yumas. The pasuk puts together the bull and his owner, so you have to make a comparison. Kimisas Bailam, Kachmisas Hashar. The way we kill the owner, that's how we kill the actual bull. You can't kill someone without having a din Torah with the defendant in front of you. So too, you need the bull in front of you. They're all potter. All the bulls are potter. However, what's the halacha? They're all potter. Now let's take the Rambam. You don't even need the Rambam. Over here it's already everybody. So what do? You let them all loose? You can't let them loose. They're also bahana. Why are they also bahana? Because some of them had a gemar din. If there's a gemar din, it's rana. And what about the one there's no gemar din? Also bahana. Why? Because a living creature cannot be batal b'roiv. He's a beria. So that's it. They're all asur bahana. We're going to see more of it soon. Review the savar, koins and oisa on the kippah. No, you don't just let them. They're not. You put them in a special pen, and you don't feed them. You feed them whatever, and they die on their own. It's more of like a grama. You cause them to die. Omar Rava, Daf Yomi Amud Aleph. Yihachi, Hainu Diktoni Allah, Omar Rabbi Yosi. They're all potter. It says they're all potter. Afilu abo chalafta b'neihem. Says Rabbi Yosi, even if my father, the Gadol Hadar, was one of the people, they're all potter. What does that mean? So here's this time a depiction. Let's say you have a bunch of hoodlums. You have one Gadol Hadar, one rabbi. They're all potter. So first of all,
second DY.
Wow. The hate mail that I'm going to get. No, I'm at mdy.com, please. Not me. I have nothing to do with this. I'm going to have to rethink some stuff here. He's out before he started. Shmuel, what's your name?
Gershon Goldenberg, Palo Alto, California.
Palo Alto, California. Wow. Gershon Goldenberg. Wow. Shmuel. And what's your name? You.
Joey Gladstone, and Joey Gladstone from Cedarhurst.
Cedarhurst. Shalom Aleichem. And what?
Oh, he's learning Telstone.
Yisrael. Givaldik. Okay, awesome. Shkoyach. Anyway, what do you see from this picture? What do you see from Rabbi Yossi? He's talking about human beings. So even if my father is part of them, what does it mean, even? Obviously, he's not talking about bulls. Rish Lakish is saying we're not talking about human beings, we're talking about bulls. On this exact thing, Rabbi Yossi comes along. Now the other thing is, even though so we're not talking about it's a question on both pshatim that we said, the one that we said yesterday and the one we're saying today. Even if they're human beings, but we said they're all roitzchim, they're all murderers. Most of them had a gemar din. This particular one didn't have a gemar din, but he's sticking in a tzaddik over here. It has to be still a tzaddik, otherwise he wouldn't say even my father. If his father killed, let's say he was the Gadol and he killed, I'm just saying Rashi over. He was a Gadol and killed, then he's no longer a Gadol, he's a Rasha, so then he also wears one of those vests. So Mela, we had a guy once, I just thought about it. Some of you will remember, we had to see him on my porch when the shir was still small. One of the guys gets up, he says he wants to say over his story, his life story. There used to be a Harley Davidson guy, and and it went on and on. It was over a 40-minute speech. In the beginning, it was interesting. And then it's like, and I had this, that, and the daf changed my life. I was like, okay. Anyway, so we had one of those guys. So, obviously, we're not talking about that everybody is a murderer, and we're not talking about that they're all bulls. Something's off here by Rabbi Yossi saying, even if my father is one of them. The Achrayim discuss, Rabbi Kiva, the Aruch HaShulchan, are you allowed to say Abba Chalafta? Are you allowed to say, let's say your father's name is Moshe. My father Moshe says, is that a normal thing to say? Let's say Reb Chaim Kanievsky's son, is he allowed to say, my father Reb Chaim? Is that how you speak?
His name was Abba Chalafta.
No, his name was Chalafta. His name was Chalafta. So over here they want to prove that if you add a title, Abba, you say the title, then you're allowed to. Some people say, some want to say that he never said Chalafta. He said Abba. The Gemara adds that his name was Chalafta. If that's the case, then you can't prove anything from here. Then you can't say your father's name with a title.
Babasra says that his name was Chalafta.
Yeah, what do you mean? Exactly. His name was Chalafta. And as a son, Rabbi Yossi says, Abba Chalafta. Elo Marava Chikamar. So Rabbi says, no. What Rabbi Yossi was talking about something else. Shnayim shoyu oimdim v'yotza chetz mebeneim v'harag. If a gun went off between two people, one of them is Abba Chalafta. Obviously, Abba Chalafta did not shoot anyone. He's a Galadar. He's not shooting people. And there's a murder that happened right here. And it's either Abba Chalafta or the guy with the funny vest and the earrings and everything. Shnei Pturim. But it can't be. It's the Galadar. It can't be. But you don't kill somebody based on it can't be. Based on a chazaka, whatever. You don't kill people like that. And that's what he's saying. Huh? They say, I don't know if it's, you have to look it up. They say that by Eichmann's trial, Yemach Shemoy, when they hung him, so there were two Israelis that pushed the button to let the floor out. Because they didn't want any one of the two to have a post-trauma. So they both did it. So now neither one of them knows who did it. Nobody could take, well, it's not Shnayim Sha'asa. It's one Sha'asa, just the other one. It's two people standing there. You don't know which one did it. Huh?
And then Rabbi Yehuda would say Kohen or something?
Here. No. Rabbi Yehuda for sure agrees in this case. 100% he agrees that you don't kill them. And then the Gemara continues. So what happened by us? What happened was, there was one bad guy. He got mixed in with a bunch of good fellows. Here, we have a picture of it. Here. There we go. Check this out. No, you missed it. You missed it. Nachama. Your mom, she's schmoozing. You missed the whole thing. This guy got mixed in with the rest. Now there's all types in here. If you look closely, there's all of them. But there's some very innocent accountants and this and that. What do you do, Rabbi Isai? Soiklin Oison. You must kill this entire group over here. I looked it up today. There's a place in America called King Ranch. It's 850,000 acres, meaning it's 1,290 square miles. There's a place in Australia called Anna Creek. It's large. Anna Creek Station, larger than the entire Eretz Yisrael. in America, King Ranch has over 35,000 cattle. 35,000 cattle. So I was thinking to myself, if you really don't like the guy, you take one bull, one cow that's chayev misa after the Gemar Din, and you helicopter him in the middle and you run. They have to kill all 35,000 cattle. There's nothing you can do. They're all asabahana. Why? You're not bottled. There's no bittul baroiv on a birya. It's one cattle.
Must be from just an Australian accent.
King Ranch, look it up. Crazy. 850,000. One guy owned it.
All these rules only apply if you can't identify which cow is which.
Yeah, of course. You can't identify it. They all look the same.
This happens to you will identify.
Yeah. Oh, nowadays. Okay. Kasha v'maisa. Yeah, you're right. He faked the brand. He took the brand off and put it on the other. I don't know what. You're talking about a branding. Some of them have in the ear. Yeah, I got it. Now, let's think about this for a second. Let's say you have 100 cows, which are very expensive. Each one is about $2,000-$3,000. They're expensive. You have 100, a couple $100,000. You take one cow that's mamish gemar din. You put in between. The halach is you have to soiklin oisan. What does that mean, soiklin oisan? You take each and every one and stone it to death. It's a lot of work. Now you have to hire more people in Bezdin and do it. Why? Because one of them is chayiv skila. So in order to perform the mitzvah of skila on that one, you have to do it to all. But why kill them? The answer is because you can't benefit from any of them either way. You're not allowed to benefit. They're all asvana because there's one of them draining around over there and you don't know which one it is. So if you can't benefit from them, you might as well kill them. And if you might as well kill them, you might as well kill them with skila so that I'm making the mitzvah of skila. I disagree. It's too much work. That you're gonna have to hire 25 people for 4 weeks, stoning and pushing off until you bring a bull. Each one is it's a half hour. It's too much there.
So what we're saying, it's like a chisur mechson, almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, is there any consideration of financial losses?
No, that's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, when I was a little kid, I was 10 or 11 years old. I was in the yeshiva Chana in Eretz in Tifrach, and I don't even know, maybe today they still have it. They have pens of chickens, and this animal called a nimiya. I still don't know what it is exactly. What is it? A mongoose. A mongoose got its way into the pen, thousands of chickens, and killed 5 of them. And the Rabbanim had to come down. I remember as a kid, there was a whole thing. I think we have to treif everything because we don't know which one of these chickens the mongoose attacked. And if attacked it, it becomes a treif. You can't really see, you can't necessarily see the size, the outer size. He went crazy. He said, eat one after another, just kill. It was a game for him overnight. You wake up in the morning, now financial loss. What are you going to do? What happens if you have mad cow disease? You got to get rid of everything. You have 1,000, get rid of them all. You have 2 of them, but it's only 2, 3. You don't. That's how it works. Somebody has what is it called? Those viruses inside the salmonella, whatever it is. E. coli. Next, you don't ask questions. So, Rabbi Yehuda is a keeper. Now the Gemara says something very similar. These 2 shittas that we have, whether you take all the animals and stone them, whether you take them all and you put them in a place and just let them all die by themselves, Vatanya, and we have a similar place that what it says, so just to the bottom of the Amud, and the Gemara is going to explain exactly what's going on. It's very simple. And it's a fascinating question. You have a pregnant animal who killed a human being. And we know we have to kill the human being. What involvement? What did I say? Oh, okay. I have no idea what I said. I'll have to go back. You have a cow that killed a human being. You have to kill the cow. Now, what involvement did the fetus have in the killing? Did it have any involvement? Is it part of it? Not part of it? Could you allow this baby, this calf, to live? So it says like this in the Brisa. Parsha Misa, she killed somebody, then she gave birth. If there was a birth before the verdict, you're allowed to benefit from the fetus, from the calf. But if she gave birth afterwards, Vlada Asur. There's a concept in the entire Shas, in the Torah, Uber yerech imoy. The fetus is actually like the yerech. How do you say the hip, a limb, whatever. It's it's part and parcel. So if the mother killed somebody, you don't say, oh, but the heart, you can benefit from the heart. The fetus, the Uber is like the mother. Yoshi did a phenomenal job here. I like it a lot. I hope you do too. Uber yerech imoy, that the fetus is one and parcel with the mother. Rabbi say, take a look. It's part of the mother. It says in the sign over there, there's a geschmack. It said Sholem Tlel Shishi, and it says America's Daf Yomi on the sign. Okay. This is a real shaila. I mean, I had the schus of my father waking the entire family up at 4 a.m. We're going to Shlok Kaparis. We had to go we would go to 770. We'd go because they had Kaparis early in the morning. Sometimes we went to the other places. Kitzer, and what happens if the woman is pregnant? Do you have to purchase 2 chickens? Maybe she has twins, 3. Maybe she has triplets, 4. Kids, it's a whole neither. What if she's carrying a boy? So you need for her a female chicken and a male chicken, but maybe it's a girl, so female. Kids it's very expensive. The Vilna Gaon says, but people I think are makbid on 2 chickens. The Vilna Gaon says Uber yerech imoy, 1 chicken. Fine. So says the Gemara, Nisara ba'acherim ba'acherim ba'acherim. How exactly it happened, you can look in Taisus, but let's just say that the groups got mixed in. There's a big mix up here. But this is exactly what we learned before. Whose sheet is this? They put them all in a kippah and let them die by themselves? That's Rabbi Yehuda. It's just reversed. The sheetas are reversed. First is Rabbi Yehuda, then it's the Tanakama. You bring them to Bezin, each and every one. If you're in that King Ranch in Texas, 35,000 cattle. It'll take you about 35 years, but you'll get it done. Fine. Says the Gemara, Omar Mar. Now we're going to go through it, just to explain. I think we have a little bit of a chart here. Let me just see if I... There's three times here. When the mother, if there's a gemar din and then she gave birth, then the uber is aser. If she got pregnant and gave birth between when she killed and the gemar din, then the uber is mutter, because the uber was. I thought it was cool also how it pops out. Before the Gemara din, maybe it's for later, I don't know. Even though when she, I think no, it's later. I messed it up. Fine, we'll use it later. When she gored, she was pregnant. How could that be? That if you have a bull that gored and she gave birth, let's say there's one aid, or the owner even says, my bull gored, killed somebody, also, you're not allowed to use this baby, you're not allowed to use this calf for a carbon. So you see that Rava holds that if the cow was pregnant during the assault, the calf has the same halach as the mother. You can't use it. Not like what you just said. Why? He uvladanakhu. Saying here, not so much, maybe it's different than Uber Yerachimai. It's as if she was part of this, she added mass, she added weight to the mother. She's part of the assault. And therefore she's also. Vladanir Bas, also. If a human being had relations with an animal, then the animal becomes also. He uvladanir bu. We look at it as if this pregnant cow, the vlad inside the cow, also had the isser done to it, and that vlad is also also. The Rekiva Eger asks what seems like a moiridik kasha here. It's going to shock you for the first second. You're going to think about it, you might even have a teretz, or a see. You think you have a teretz. Ask the Rekiva Eger, if that's true, that a human that has relations with an animal, it's as if he had relations with the vlad, with the calf, and the calf is also. So it comes out, you're not allowed to have relations with a wife that's pregnant, because then you are having relations with a mother and a daughter at the same time. Later on, the Gemara talks about uber yerchimoi. It's part of the mother. It's not an entity on its own. Okay.
You can't kill the carbon because you can't kill them both on the same day.
When?
You can't kill a cow when it's
So, okay.
Don't do it on the same day.
So you don't do it. Yeah, that's something else. That's a shechita of eating and maybe kill it as is. You don't have to wait until she gives birth. You mean in the case where she gave birth. So he says like this. If that's this thing on the chart. Now we introduce this. This is new. If she got pregnant and gave birth in between the two, what do I want to call them? The two events. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. The two events. There's an event of an agicha where she killed a human being. There's an event of a verdict. In between, there's 9 months. I don't know how many we'd say. 5 months for maybe it's 9 months for a behemoth. I don't remember. It's 4 or 5 for a small animal. 9 maybe 6. I don't remember the name. Okay, let's call it 9 months just to be safe. There's 9 months in between. She got pregnant and gave birth. Then the vlad is 100% mutter. Why? Because the vlad did not participate in the murder. The vlad was not present at the verdict. But if she got pregnant and gave birth after the verdict, then this is a birth of Isser. Vlad Aser. Now let me ask you a question. Why is the Vlad Aser? Who's the father? The father's a kosher guy. So you have 50% kosher, 50% an animal that had a bad verdict against it. Okay, but it's only 50%. Why kill the baby? So the Gemara says, if you have 2 parts to one, you have one Vlad that's created by a Zachar in a cave, and that Zachar in this case is kosher, Aser, still, even though it's only 50%, it's still Aser, great, I understand why you have to kill the Vlad. Daf Yomi Beis. But if you have 50% mutter, and that's the halacha, that if the father is a good guy, he's an accountant, then the Vlad, even though the mother is a big Russian, she's chayiv misa, the Vlad is mutter as a carbon. There was a goyim mutter. Michael and Meimar. There was a pshat over here. Let's do the turning of the daf. Turning of the daf, sponsored by Adar Global Experts in International Financial Services, by Dr. Alan and Barbara Listhouse, in memory of my dear father, Joseph Listhouse, on his 45th yard side, Mordechai Yosef Ben Ariel Olav Ashol. Lirfo as Rivka Henyo Bashulam is Lirfo Satinu Gecheskel Yedidya Ben Chama Shendel, by Nad Life, Realty Bet Shemesh, and Moshe Einhorn, in honor of Reb Eli and the entire MDY family. I think I said this in the Hebrew share. I don't know if I said it in the English share. Hold on, Benny. I want you, if you could stick around. Okay, forget it. I changed the Gemara a little bit. I didn't change the Gemara, Chaz Hashem. I changed the Pshat. I don't know if I said it. I'll say it real quickly. One of the sponsors today was watching on Zoom, which he watches for years already. He's watching on Zoom, and he noticed that one of the boys that's watching on Zoom, he had a leak in the ceiling. I said the story a lot, but it just showed. I said it in English too? I said it in English. Okay, Givaldik. Hello, Marava. Now the hint is getting closer and closer, because now you could take off some of the sponsors, and this is not dailies. Okay, but whatever. There's still a lot of monthlies and mesachtas and all that stuff. Hello, Maravina. Ema imad shalei nigmar dina ibra v'yalda v'lada muter. Says, let me change it around a little bit. If before the verdict she got pregnant and gave birth, v'lada muter, then the vlad is muter. Imad shalei nigmar dina ibra. Now what he does is he's splitting. The pregnancy started before the verdict. Why? So then how do we view it? The parents. Let's look at the parents of this cow. The Zachar is certainly a kosher guy. What about the mother? Kosher, because there's no verdict. So you have 2 kosher parents. Okay. But then there's a verdict. And the verdict was also on her pregnant calf, the fetus. That's bad. Vlad Aser. Yes, the pregnancy. Hayrasa b'kedusha. It's a joke. Hayrasa b'kedusha v'leidasa shaloi b'kedusha. They say it about a human being. But the pregnancy was mamish kosher. Both parents, both cows. It was a good union. But when she gave birth, she was already chayiv misa, the mother. So why? Because of the famous halacha, ubar yerech imayhu.
The Gemara doesn't make it retroactively that it was already a bad bull, so then the vlad should have been bad already from the time of the mice.
No.
Say that right now the person.
No. Let me ask you something. Let's say there's a Gemara did and you benefited from the milk yesterday, so you're going to have to go pay, and you did it Isser because retroactively you benefited from the milk. The milk was kosher then. The vlad is kosher up until the verdict. But the verdict, it's not a lemafreya thing. From now on, it's also ba'ana. Kol chayav b'misos.
Ariel.
Right. Rabbi Isai. Kol chayav b'misos. We said in the Mishnah, you have two people. One, let's say, is Michal Shabbos. One is a murderer. One gets skila for Shabbos. The other one is supposed to get sayif for murdering. And they got mixed up. They look similar and they got mixed up. So what do we say? You give them the least, the lesser oynish, the one that's sayif. Instead of skila is the most chamer according to Chacham. Says the Gemara, l'chayro, we have a raya. There's a question in Ksubas if you could do something like that. Let's say somebody deserves skila. Could you give him cherev? Could you give him sayif? Could you give him another? He's going to get the most, the highest. Could you give him something less? Is it included or not? Shmamina musra l'dover chomer. The hasra, the Edom came and said, by the way, if you are Michal Shabbos, we're going to give you skila. And then, because of this reason, because they got mixed in, we'll give you chenek instead. Is that okay? That's where I was from. You'll say, Kolchkein, look, you're supposed to get the worst of the worst, and now it's going to be a less painful death. It's going to be quick. Maybe yes. Maybe enriching min adin. The Gemara says, Shmami no musra l'dover chomer, havi musra l'dover count. It's not mamish enriching min adin. Why? Over there, the Gemara in Ksubas doesn't have an answer. Over here we have an answer, that if I give you hasra for the more severe one, it's included in that. Why? Because both of them are death. It's a death penalty. Just how do I kill you? I kill you with a less severe one. Okay, it's within it. It's not a kavachomer. Omer Rabbi Yirmiyah, hachamay skino. No, I can't prove from here anything. I want to prove that it works, but you can't prove. Why? Because there's no hasra on the type of misa. Kigoin sheisru boy stam. We're talking about Asra that he didn't say what's going to. If you Michal Shabbos, you're going to die. He didn't say skila. He didn't mention the word skila. Is that good enough or not? So Revolbe, I heard this. I think it's Revolbe who says, but it's a good yesod for parents and mechanchim. Don't ever give an empty threat. Don't ever tell a kid, if you do that, you don't know what I'm going to do to you. It's going to be the worst punishment you ever had in your life. You have to be specific. You have to say exactly what it is. I'm going to take this game away from you. I'm going to put you in the corner for 5 minutes. I'm going to make you write your name 100 times. But you have to. I'm not going to let you go to the daf tonight. So that's what some parents do. Yeah. The younger kids, it's a treat. So, but empty threats are nothing. We had a kid here. We had such a zisa kid. He's like a 10-year-old last night. He says, when my Rebbe says, I'll give the worst punishment, we all laugh. It's nothing. If he says, I'm going to not let you go to recess, oy vavoy. That's a bad one.
But don't use Torah as a threat.
Weiter. Don't use Torah as a threat? Why? Maybe it's a good thing. You're showing the Torah is so chashuv, so bad. I don't know. I hear what you're saying. Says the Gemara, the Sanya, you need this. Look, Rabbi Isai, it's a new one. This is 23. All mitzvahs in Torah, you need 23. Show the face. It's like drone footage. It's crazy. Okay. Ve'edim, you need edim, ba'asra. But check this out. Read these words carefully. Va'ad she'idu shu chayiv misas bezdin. And also they have to notify him that there's going to be a misa over here. But it doesn't notice that it doesn't say which one. There's going to be death, and that's enough. Rabbi Yehuda, no, it's not enough. Achidu yoidiu be'ezoi misa hunerag. You have to notify him that it's going to be skila. So Alte Nechama Yosef Ben Chaya Sara, mamish kiss from Hashem. Today is Moshe Rabbeinu's yahrzeit. Moshe Rabbeinu went and asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Mekoshesh, what I do with the person. Huh? What do you say?
No, they look similar to the bad guys, but they didn't.
Oh. So the truth is, the whole Torah is Moshe Rabbeinu, but the Mekoshesh, he was Michal Shabbos, and over there, obviously, they didn't tell him by the Hasra. They didn't say what death he's going to get because they didn't know. So Tanakama yelled at Mekoshish, look, you don't have to tell him what death. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, don't bring me right from Mekoshish. That was a once in a lifetime thing. That's why there was no. But Rashi says over here, there's no asra on what death. And Rashi reminds us. It says in the pasuk, Yumas Hames, that part of the asra is Yater Atzmoy Lemisa. You have to tell the bad guy, you are going to die. He says, I don't care, I want to die. Like he's matter. He allows himself to die. So, but it's mashma that he knows what death he's going to get. Haniskolm ben Esrafim. Says the Gemara's story. Masel Rabbi Yechiel Romi Berei. Rabbi Yechiel, the father of Rabbi Yehuda, this is the answer. Rabbi Yechiel was the father of Rabbi Yehuda. He told Rabbi Yehuda's brother, his name was Rami, Hanisrafim ben Eskolim. Here, so I did a little chart. This is not Yoshi style, this is Stefansky style, but it's going to have to do today. Oy vey, the colors are off. I used the wrong thing. Okay, Lamashana, it's all green. You'll have to get it. You saw this blue and red, and then it turns into green for some reason. I don't know if maybe if you could turn off go into the slide and turn off the animation, and then it should stay. I'll go upon him. It says like this. In our Mishnah, if you notice, it says Haniskolim ben Esrafim, the bottom one. It's important. We have the top and the bottom. Look, Niskolim ben Esrafim. Hebrew would say this got mixed in that. The that is much more than the this. The Niskolim, the one guy, let's call him, in the many, in the Nisrafim. If it would say it the reverse, it would say Nisrafim. Ben Niskolim would be the few in the many of Niskolim. In our Mishnah, it actually says Niskolim ben Esrafim. It says the bottom one. But when Rabbi Yehuda's father was teaching it to Rabbi Yehuda's brother, he reversed it. And Rabbi Yehuda didn't like it. He says, Rabbi Shimon he says, Rabbi Hanisrafim ben Eskolim. What are the many? The Niskolim. Does it make a difference? Says the Rabbi Yehuda, yes. Rabbi Shimon skila. Why does everybody get skila? In this case, the top case. A guy that deserves sreifa got mixed in with the skila. Why does he get skila? Because sreifa is more chamer. I can't give him the harder one, so I give him skila. Says Rabbi Yehuda, no, the reason is in that case, because there's many against one. You have to go with the raiv. And skila is the raiv. You have to give him skila. You missed the point then. I'm trying to say that you go with the less severe misa, and over here you didn't make your point. Over here I'm going with the raiv. That's not the point. Rabbi Yehuda, Abba. He told him very sharp. Don't teach him like that. The Gemara is going to say, how do you talk to a father like that? You tell your father, don't teach him like that. The reason why the top line, you give everybody skillas because they're the raiv. Maybe I should have put two stick figures, so it's because it's more meduik in the lush and it's rough fins. Okay, fine. But you get the point. What do you want me to say? Oh, I want you to say like the bottom line. That the raiv, they deserve, thank you. Oh, much better to me. Now I could see it, not green. Thank you, Gershon. The raiv is sreifa. But because sreifa is so severe, I'm going to give everybody skila. Now it makes sense. So he asks him, I thought about that, but he also him a seifa. So how do you explain the seifa? You start off nice, but how are you going to explain the end? Chacham say, in this case, you should get sreifa. Shaskil chamura. That's not true. Why are you getting sreifa in the bottom case? Because the raiv is sreifa, not because skila is chamer. The Reuben is sreifa. Do you have the raiv? The same question you asked me on the top, I'll ask on the bottom. Says Gemara, no. You're right. It's a good kasha. But who started the conversation? Reb Shimon started the conversation. Why? Skill chamor. I'm telling you, no. Skill is more chamor. Shmuel Rabbi Yehuda. So Shmuel, the Rebbe, tells Rabbi Yehuda. I asked in the beginning, who's Rabbi Yehuda's Rebbe? Rav and Shmuel. After Rav was nifter, then Shmuel became his Rebbe. So he says, don't talk like that. Shinana, sharp one. He always called him sharp one. How do you say like that to your father? How do you talk like that to your father? If you see your father being over Isser, what is the worst thing that could happen to a human being? I thought about it this morning. I came up with, when your daughter returns from seminary, and she starts telling you, I learned in seminary that you're big Russia. Which one did you go to? Tomer Dvora. How to get you back? And then the father is secretly thinking to himself, I can't wait until she goes off the derech. Until she calms down, she cools down. It takes a few months. Tati, you didn't do this well. That's not how you say Kiddush. You have to wear your hat during benching. We learned this, we learned that. The kids are the guys out. No? You have no idea what I'm talking about. You know about these frummer girls that come back and they try to make, that's what's going on there. So what do you say? You don't say you did it Isser. So it says, isn't that the same thing? It says in the Torah, what you're doing is wrong. It says in the Torah, here's the pasuk. You say b'nichusa, you say it nicely. In our case, Rabbi Yehuda should have told his father, the Mishnah says, nisrafim b'niskolim. I'm sorry, niskolim b'nisrafim. And then you're supposed to figure out that I reversed it to the son. By yourself, you figured out, Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day, a good Shabbos, Motzei Shabbos, 8:45.